When you say we could join our inner beings by thinking non-resistant thoughts, could you give just a couple examples of that, non-resistant thought? You're talking about just basking in the shower, that kind of thing?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what subject it is. So here's a resistant thought. I would really like to have more money, but it's hard to get. That's a resistant thought. Your inner being thinks only, all that is wanted is coming, all that is wanted is coming, and you say, but it's hard. Your inner being is saying, all that is wanted is coming, all that is wanted is coming, you say, but it's hard. As long as your thinking is hard, then every time you think about money, it's a sort of discouraging subject. It's a subject that makes you not sleep at night. It makes you want to try hard. But your inner being knows that whatever you want is coming, because your inner being has full view of all of the cooperative components that are all lined up. Your inner being knows where you are and where you want to be and what the path of least resistance is to get you there. Not the quickest route. The quickest route would be if you were over there with your inner being with no resistance. The quickest route would be meditate, quiet your mind, don't think any thoughts. You're right there. You're right there because you're thinking no thought. But then you come out of meditation. When you start thinking about your real estate business, you go right to that resistant place, if that's your habit of thought. So a resistant thought has resistance in it. And a resistant thought, which has resistance in it, contains some form of negative emotion.
I'm getting that I just need to relax into the well-being that is and just accept it and just live that way.
That's what we said earlier. We'd like to just slap you all upside the head so that you just know that, but that's not how it goes. You have to, thought by thought, discern what a resistant thought is on this subject, what a resistant thought is on this subject, what a non-resistant thought is. So over time, we've said to you, reach for the best feeling thought. Well, that's nice too. Reach for the best feeling thought. But you know, have you ever had a conversation with someone where you have a pretty clear understanding of something and maybe a strong opinion about it? And they've asked for your help and you want to help them and you feel pretty clear about what would help them. But they have a different opinion. And so you're sort of debating it. And each suggestion you make, they resist it. And so it's like this battle of wits that is going on, where every time you tell them something, you try to give them examples of what worked for you, and they've got a yeah but about it, until it becomes such a frustrating conversation because they're not hearing you and you're not really hearing them, and it's quite a tug of war that's going on. You have those two people in yourself much of the time. So your inner being is always knowing that what you want is possible and in fact is lined up. Do you know what the greatest cause of resistance is in resistant thought? Do you know what the greatest cause of it is? Your current reality. Because if you want something that you don't have and you're really focused upon what you've got, which isn't what you want, then your awareness of what is preventing you from going to where you want to go. Isn't that interesting? Just being present in the moment and aware of what's going on will keep you from the improvement. Esther said to us in the early days, but Abraham, it's true. It's true, so shouldn't I think about it? And we said there are a lot of things that are true that you don't want active in your vibration. That's why you don't want to watch the news. You don't want to stir up that feeling of pushing against that comes to you. But there's nothing wrong with watching the news and launching rockets of desire and then meditating and then lining up with your desire. Now reality, now manifested reality is the culprit that prevents you from the improvement that you want.
So just stay focused on the vortex where everything is that we need and ignore basically current reality. I mean, that's...
Unless current reality is spectacular, like the shower or what you're eating or the memory of the last wonderful things lining up. Sometimes right in the middle of something that feels like even a crisis, because the balance of who you are is more about alignment than not, the universe will deliver answers to you before the problem is even in your awareness.
Yeah, I've experienced that.
Answers before you even know you had a problem.
So could you sum it up, stay focused on where you're going rather than where you presently are? I mean, just focus on where you're headed.
That's good advice. But if where you're going is a stick that's really bothering you, then stay off that stick even though you're trying to focus on where you're going. So what we're saying is reach into the pile of subjects and choose the ones that are in this moment most pleasurable. And if there aren't any, take a nap or meditate.
All right, thank you so much.
Really good conversation. Really good.
Thank you so much. This has been a massive breakthrough for me. I've been really working hard at trying to clear all the negative emotions for a long time. And this was just that. And now I feel like a dam has burst. I'm having such beautiful moments of clarity, and I just really appreciate it. I don't really have a question. I'm just really appreciative.
Well, that observation is worth acknowledging and holding to the feeling of. There's nothing that will serve you better than that feeling right here, right now. So it's good to sort of take it in and feel it and acknowledge how it got there and acknowledge the feeling of resonance that it is with your inner being. Mm-hmm. It's one of the lovely things about meditating and finding that feeling, because it helps you to calibrate your thoughts deliberately later. Now, as you acknowledge that feeling, acknowledge it and isolate it and then calibrate to it. That's mastery.
Sometimes I was just in my chair feeling what I'm doing now is just really opening and just feeling
wholeness,
openness, and then I'll wait and there'll be some sort of a voice or an idea or a word.
Yeah, that means you're receiving.
Yeah, and sometimes it feels like I'll see, we just bought a new Tesla, and so I'll see our car and I'll feel excited about driving it and think about that. And
your inner being will take you on the path of least resistance to the least resistant thoughts. So those things you're most excited about are often the thoughts that come into your mind. That's good. Esther moves furniture around often.
Right. And then sometimes I was sitting there and I got this thought of, oh, I'm really excited for all this abundance, but then I checked in and I thought, oh, wait a minute, there's a wobble in that.
Abundance is one of those words that can often bring a wobble.
Right. And so I just thought, and I just stopped and I said, oh, I'm just gonna stop and then refocus.
You know, a really nice thing, and this is what happened to you, and you talked about it because it's of advantage to everyone else. So you get tuned in and you start seeing or hearing the movie, which leads to another thought, that your inner being is also inspired. So the Tesla was an easy, non-resistant way to go. And then the next thought, introduced in the midst of the easy thought, could go one of two ways. It could either make the harder thought a little easier, or it could introduce a little bit of resistance. Doesn't matter which one it is, it only matters that you're aware. So you know when to back off, you know when to give your attention to it. That's how you figure this out, isn't it?
Because sometimes I'll feel the abundance thought, and then it'll just be like, so much money coming, it's so easy, and I can think about the ways that money is flowing and feel really appreciative. And then, so I guess it's just, if it feels easy, just go with it.
Well, think of abundance and resources, and think of resources and abundance, and resources meaning air that you're breathing, and friends that you're playing with, and conversations that you're having. There are a lot of resources that don't have the resistance that the money thing has. And so when you get into that place of feeling abundance, turn the word to resources and acknowledge the incredible resources. Our favorite thing about this state of alignment is that it's not just a state of clarity, but it is. And it's not just a state of love, but it is. But it is a state of replenishment. Well, is there a better word that goes with abundance than replenishment? Because we want you to express your money outward, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And so if it's going out, it's got to be replenished, you see. Your planet is such a planet of replenishment. There are so many people that want to pinch you off from accepting the well-being of your planet. But the well-being of your planet is so abundant with evidence of replenishment, 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 you see. That's what your vortex is. Your vortex is never-ending replenishment for the manifestations of your life experience. You're not ever going to be without the things that are important to you, because your vortex is laden with them and flowing them to you, you see. So when you think in terms of your vortex and the abundance of it, and you get those glimpses of it flowing to you, for Esther, the feeling of clarity is the strongest feeling of abundance that she has. But she sees it everywhere. Replenishment, 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 never-ending replenishment, never-ending abundance. Question, answer, problem, solution, replenishment, 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 replenishment. Expansion. There's no regression. You can't go back. Once you have birthed it and it's in your vortex, and once your inner being is all over it, it's a done deal. It is for sure, for sure, for sure. The only question is, how long is it going to take you to talk yourself into letting it in? And the answer to that is, how soon are you willing to let go of whatever it is you're focused upon, to let the now give way to the true now, to let the vibrational reality. Manifestations that are around you, surrounding you, they're old news. It's like gum you've chewed the flavor out of. The vortex is where it all is. And so when you open that valve and you find the key to that, what that feels like, then you just have one satisfying moment after another, after another, after another, after another. And you get so good. It's a muscle that you practice that is so natural to you that it's freaky when you stumble back across an old belief that doesn't fit anymore. Just feels freaky. Shocking. A little shocking. I remember when I used to feel that way, but I haven't felt that way for a while. Yeah.
I've been playing this game where I'll imagine if I had all the money in the world, how would I feel? And just feel so abundant and no problem putting
If you had all the money
out.
in the world, you know
Wow.
how you'd feel? Out of balance, because no one person will ever have all the money in the world.
You know what I mean? I had just,
Say it the way you mean it. If I had all the money.
unlimited resources for everything that I could want, which I do, then how does that feel?
Let's say this the way it really is. I just like to imagine what it would be like if my life caused me to have all of these desires that I was letting being satisfied. That's vibrationally accurate statement. My life, as it came to me, as it came at me, caused me to launch desires and make big requests. And my vortex, full of those requests, and my inner being standing there with them, gathered all the cooperative components and accomplished the vibrational version of that. So it's not a matter of if. We would start saying, since my vortex is full of everything that I've ever asked for, then wouldn't it be nice if I could find a mindset, a mood, an attitude, a habit of thought that would allow evidence of that abundance to show up now. So it's not just abundance of dollars, it's having an impulse to leave the thoroughfare at the appropriate time, or feeling an impulse to call someone, or.